Welcome to Mayor's Night Out, 2nd District. My name is Tom McDermott. I've been your mayor for a while. I'm still your mayor. Happy to be here at Haas High School. As we do every Mayor's Night, we typically start off with the host councilman, and it's my proud pleasure for the second time to be able to introduce Alfonso Salinas Jr. as the councilman. Alfonso Salinas III as your councilman. Let's give it up for your councilman, everybody.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hammond 2nd District in beautiful downtown Hammond. I know we have a lot of projects that are going on across the city, but none bigger than what's going on here in downtown Hammond. We can go through different projects, and I'm sure we'll get through a lot of them today with some questions and concerns. But I would like to use this time today to share with the people up here. A lot of them deserve extra praise and thank yous because every day I rely on them. I get phone calls with issues or concerns, and right away my first move is to make sure that we contact the correct department or department head and actions taken right away. So with that said, I wanted to just highlight a few of our departments and give them just an extra thank you and gratitude from myself and the 2nd District. I want to start with the Hammond Police Department. Thank you very much. Got Captain Strawberry and the Community Affairs Division, and that primarily includes Lieutenant Mickey, Larnick, Gonzalez. I want to thank them all for the work that they do throughout the 2nd District, and that includes not just keeping us safe, but keeping a lot of our abandoned cars off the streets, because that is one of our biggest issues with out-of-state plates and whatnot. My second thank you I want to give out to is to the Hammond Parks Department, specifically Jim Talon and his team at the Sportsplex. Kim and Sebastian have been working together, helping the residents and helping the 2nd District. Also, Devin and Matt. Devin has been actually, Devin took out a large seagull out of, a dead seagull out of someone's front parkway today. So thank you to Devin, appreciate that. Our graffiti removal program deserves extra applause. We've had a rash of graffiti around the 2nd District, not just the bridges, but also to some trees and some fences, residential. And the graffiti removal program works diligently to get rid of all that graffiti, so thank you. And another thank you to our Public Works Department, and that goes to Felix, as well as Juan Serrano and his crew. They keep our area cleaned up. They do the extra pickups and whatnot for our residents, so a big thank you to that department. And two of my favorites I want to say thank you to, and that would be Juan Moreno and Melissa Campbell. Them two rock stars continue to push the envelope, and I know that they are going to bring great things to our downtown Hammond area. So let's get this started. I know we got some good questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Salinas. As we typically do to start each Mayor's Night off, we start off at, hi Eileen, how's it going? Everybody, this is Eileen Ibarra. She's the Special Events Coordinator for the City of Hammond. We typically start off each Mayor's Night Out by introducing the department heads. And so I got Eileen over there. Eileen goes around this part of the audience. We got Christy back there. Hi, Christy. That's Christy Orms. Christy could take your questions. We base this whole thing off the written questions, so if we only have a few questions, which I'm not going to argue with, but if you want to keep this going, Christy's the person to get the questions to. And then over here I have Alex, who has a microphone also.
Hi, Mayor.
Hi, Alex. This is Alex Tahura. Alex will come up to you on this side of the room. Alex is also the Constituent Services Officer. What's the name of your title again?
Constituent Services.
Constituent Services. And what that is, it's your advocate. So if you have a problem and it's complicated, typically involving a lot of work, we put Alex on the job. Because there's sometimes you call the mayor's office and you're like, hey, nobody picked up my garbage. And we say, oh, that's easy. And we give a call to Public Works, and Public Works tries to rectify your problem. Happens like that. But if you call up and you have a neighbor issue and it's pervasive and it involves multiple departments, that's when we call Alex. And Alex takes those more complicated cases, and like a lawyer, she's your advocate, and she works this room on your behalf. So if you have a complicated case, you get to know Alex. We created this position about a year ago. I think it's really wise, and I think she's doing a great job. So I appreciate you being here, Alex. Alex is going to go ahead and hand the microphone off to our department heads, and they'll introduce themselves to you.
Megan Flores, City Controller.
Chris Campbell, Information Technology.
Jeff Smith, Port Authority.
Jim Talon, Park Department.
Felix Gonzalez, Public Works.
Kelly Kearney, Inspections Department.
Nicholas Farrell, Code Enforcement.
Andrea Lewis, United Neighborhoods, Inc.
Owana Miller, Community Development.
Brian Poland, City Planning.
Ron Novak, Environmental Management.
Scott Miller, Chief of Staff.
Kevin Smith, Corporation Counsel.
Ann Taylor, Planning and Development.
Juan J. Moreno, Economic Development.
Andy Short, Hammond Police.
Bernie Grizzlia, Hammond Fire.
Sharon Daniels, Personnel and College Bound.
Dean Button, Engineering.
Carmen Paniagua, Housing Authority.
Jack Smith, Sewer Maintenance.
Bob Vale, Building Department.
Milo Krasinski, Sanitary District.
Mark McLaughlin, Water Department.
All right. And I'd like to thank Kathy for being here and interpreting for those that need additional help. So thank you very much, Kathy. Nice to see you. We started that during the pandemic, actually, having an interpreter on screen, because in those days when we would do Go Hammond segments during the pandemic, we would get thousands of people watching each. It was crazy, and obviously back then when you'd hold a government meeting, everybody needed to be part of it. And what we didn't realize back then, before we started working with Kathy, is a lot of people needed help and they needed interpretation, and that's why we brought Kathy on board, and she's been doing Mayor's Night Out with us ever since. So I appreciate you being here, Kathy. We're going to go ahead and get started. Like I said, Mayor's Night Out is generated off your written question. If you have a written question, please submit it to Christy. Christy will get it to either Eileen or Alex, and if I can't answer it, I have somebody up here that can do it for me. I want to thank some people in the audience, elected officials that help make my job and our job much easier. So let's go ahead and start with our Council President, Council President Dave Warple. Good to see you, Councilman. He represents the city of Hammond with the Lake County Council. It's Dave Ham. Good to see you, Councilman. He represents our 4th district, and he came all the way up to the 2nd district to support, the 2nd district as well. It's great to see Councilman Bill Emerson. Thank you very much, Councilman. She's Councilwoman at Large, represents the whole city, Councilwoman Janet Venez. Thank you, Councilwoman. He's our North Township trustee. He goes to every single Mayor's Night Out. It's great to see you, Adrian Santos, North Township trustee. He's a councilman at large, represents the whole city, Councilman Dan Spitali. Good to see you, Councilman. I don't want to forget our host councilman, Councilman Al Salinas III, and our former 2nd District Councilman, Alfonso Salinas Jr. Good to see you, Councilman. Thank you. I appreciate the elected officials being here, and all of our police officers and firefighters. I appreciate you being here. I see a lot of officers in the back. Thank you all very much for making our city safe. It's good to see we got 4-year contracts with all of our unions wrapped up recently, which makes me very happy. I want to thank a lot of people on this stage that worked very hard to negotiate those contracts. Our city controller, Megan Flores, along with Tanisha Greenwell, worked real hard on behalf of the controller's office. My negotiating team also included Tom Dabberton, who's a consultant with the city, as well as my chief of staff, Scott Miller, and Kevin Smith, corporate counsel. And there's probably some of the department heads and so many other people that worked hard, but we literally had to knock off like 6 or 7 different contracts with different language. And it was a lot. Last year, we got it done. Took a couple weeks extra, but it seems like all of our unions are very content right now. I'm not going to say happy, but it seems like everybody's content. And I can tell you they're all working hard, which makes me happy as your mayor. So thanks to see nice to see everybody here. Let's go ahead and jump into the questions.
Did you want to address
Scott.
the live stream challenge?
Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Scott. For those of you at home not watching right now, the Wi-Fi is not strong enough to broadcast from this room. We were afraid of that. We got here hoping that maybe we could help boost it. We couldn't do that. As a result, this will have to be taped. We're taping it right now, and we'll show it live tonight. We'll show it. We'll have it available tonight if you want to watch it again. And if you're here right now, you want to watch it again, God bless you. Okay? But for those of you that are watching it right now and you're not watching it live, the reason is the signal is not strong enough to broadcast live. So you will see it tonight on Go Hammond. So thank you. Thanks, Scott. Sure. All right, Eileen, how you doing?
Hi, Mayor. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Eileen, Festival of Lakes, what's going on? I get asked this question everywhere I go.
So we've announced one night. We have another announcement coming this Friday, and then in the next few weeks, we'll be announcing hopefully the remainder of our lineup. We're
I'm
excited.
privy to knowledge. These are rhetorical questions I know the answer to. We not 80% of the fest lined up now, right? With the
That's
musical?
correct.
So 4 out of the 5 nights, we're working on opening bands, which is a good sign. We have one offer for the final night, and we're hoping that it's taken. But so next few weeks, we'll be doing our announcements. Is that true?
Yeah, hopefully we'll be wrapped up by the end of April.
Awesome.
Fingers
Thank you.
crossed.
Appreciate it. Eileen, part of her job is a big part of her job is special events coordinator. Part of her job is Mayor's Night Out. A big part of her job is Festival of the Lakes. How long do you think you work on Festival of the Lakes in a year? How much of the year is devoted to that?
I probably have like a 2-month break or so.
2-month break?
Yeah.
I know we were looking at bands as soon as last year's ended. Like, we made offers within a few weeks of the last one ending. And we're still making offers. It's like I say, and I know we get asked this question a lot. It's like dating. Just because we want a band doesn't mean they're going to play here. Just because they like us doesn't mean we like them. And we may like them and they may like us, but we're just not available because they're in the West Coast and we're over here in the Midwest, right? So it's really exceptional circumstances that have to happen for us to be able to link a band. And we have further challenges in the region here. Chicago's right there. And Chicago sucks up a lot of these bands. And if given the choice between Hammond and Chicago, unfortunately, some of these bands pick Chicago. I can't understand why. I love Hammond so much that they should be playing here. But so we are fighting a lot of factors. So every year we field our 5-day lineup, and it's a good lineup. I'm always very appreciative of Eileen and her staff and how hard they work. So thank you. Today's my commercial day. Councilman Salinas inspired me to recognize employees because he did such a great job recognizing our employees. So it is. Thank you. So let's go ahead and get started.
First question of the night. When is the approximate completion date for Kennedy Avenue?
Great question. So if you'll remember correctly, I'm going to pass off to Dean Button, who's Hammond's city engineer. Dean's a resident of the city, a professional engineer, lives in Robertsdale, which is our first district. Hi, Dean.
Good evening, Mayor.
He's also the chairman of CIB, which Councilman Salinas is a member of the CIB. This is an entity we put together that analyzes all casino revenue that comes in and spends it wisely, I think. I have very little to do with CIB other than signing the decisions they come up with. I think it works well. But Dean, we just finished Kennedy Avenue last year, slowing down traffic between the 6400 block, 6800.
65th to 69th.
Right. Now we're starting 64 to Michigan Avenue Bridge, right?
Correct.
How long is that going to take?
We'll be done this season. The intent is to have it done by
Because the last one
September,
took a long
October.
time, and I know people are nervous. The last one took a few seasons. What's different about this one?
It's more of a overlay. So we're going to do some reconstruction, but the utilities are in reasonably good shape out there. And what we're not really moving the curbs, right? We're not narrowing the roadway like we did in the southern section.
Gotcha.
Going north, we're keeping the lane width, the roadway width the same, but we're adding parking and bike facilities, but reducing one lane of traffic, so there'll be one lane in each direction with a center turn lane or a two-way left turn lane.
When I hear people talk about the Kennedy Avenue reconstruction, the primary purpose was when we did the first phase of it between 69th and Freddy's Steakhouse, basically. What was our main purpose? Because if I hear the detractors, they're like, Mayor Tom did that so he could put bike lanes on Kennedy Avenue. It's like, okay, people ride bikes on Kennedy Avenue, but the main purpose was to slow down the dang traffic.
Slow down traffic and to improve the business community in
Make
that
it
area.
walkable.
Make it walkable, make it available for businesses to, encroach outside, whether you want to have a table to eat at, or if you wanted to, put a rack of clothes out to get people to come in. That's sort of the intent, is to make it a more walkable community.
When we did Kennedy, we copied an idea that you see right here in downtown Hammond. We hired a world-class planner named Jeffrey Speck. We worked with Jeffrey Speck, watched what he did with downtown Hammond, with Homan Avenue in particular, and my little pea brain was thinking, the problems in downtown Hammond with cars speeding through downtown Hammond are very similar to the problems we have in Hessville. Very similar. High-speed cars going through. People afraid to walk across the street because the cars are going 45, 50 miles an hour. and we needed to slow it down. So we paid this great consultant that helped us with downtown Hammond, and then we took the ideas we learned here, and we didn't pay any consultants other than Dean and the people working for us, and we emulated the same project on Kennedy Avenue with no consultant. It's the same philosophy. We got to slow down the traffic. We got to make it so that people feel comfortable that they could walk across Kennedy Avenue and not get hit by a car, just like we did in downtown Hammond. In downtown Hammond, I know we've been waiting a long time, but I know we're getting close on the bank. In fact, I'm going to introduce Ann Taylor, who's the head of planning and development, and Ann's going to talk to you about the bank in downtown Hammond.
That's right, Mayor.
And Ann, you were also working very closely with Jeffrey Speck, right?
I was, yeah. What a great person who came to our city. He recognized the potential of our downtown, and yeah.
And he's still working with it. He was here
Oh yeah,
a couple months ago,
he's been pulled
right?
on as a consultant. He's a consultant for our downtown train station and the outdoor space we're going to have on Station Square right outside of it.
That's
So
great.
he is still with us.
That's awesome.
Can you mention the documentary?
Yeah, so when Jeff Speck started working with us in 2019, we had a documentary filmmaker from Chicago who knew about Jeff Speck and saw that he was going to come talk to Hammond and potentially work here. So he started filming Jeff and filmed him over 4 or 5 years as he worked in Hammond because he wanted to show the greater audience of our country what walkability is and how it has helped small urban cores around the country that needed to revitalize and reimagine themselves. So it's out now. It's out on pbs.org. It's called Walkable USA, and it follows Jeff and how he has used walkability across the country, but it uses Hammond as the example of a community that has started working with him and continues to work with him. So it's really fun to see our city up on the screen.
I know that the bank is getting pretty close to.
They are.
finally
They
opening.
are.
Do you-
They're actually, people will start moving in this weekend.
And that's great.
Yes.
Great timing. The bank is the former Bank Calumet building in downtown Hammond. So they're leasing currently.
They are leasing now, and people will move in this weekend. They have 100 market rate units, and they are beautiful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very exciting.
All right, so I went a little extra on that. The first question was, how long is it going to take to finish Kennedy Avenue? And we sort of went off on a tangent. But recapping what Dean said, we're planning on being done this year. And it's important to the businesses down there that we're done this year. So I promise you, I'm going to be riding Dean's butt to make sure it's done this year. And then, you heard the whole expression about things going downhill, right? So my whole purpose of riding Dean is so that Dean rides the construction crews and the engineers that are watching this project so that we get this thing done by the end of the year. It's very important for all these businesses over there, and it's important to me, it's important to Dean, and we're going to relay that importance to the business community of Hessville, because we've gone through a lot in Hessville right now, just like we've gone through a lot in downtown Hammond, and so, thank you, Dean.
Mayor,
Scott, how's it going?
Dean, can you confirm that they'll maintain at least the traffic can go through for the entire length of that project?
So we're open to two-way traffic up to the base of the bridge that goes over the IHB railroad track, which is essentially Gibson Transfer Road, if you're familiar with that location. So it's one lane of traffic in each direction. Businesses are open, access to those businesses are open. But north of the Gibson Transfer Road going over the bridge, the county's rebuilding that bridge. And concurrently, and they expect to have a completion time around the same time we are. But that's one lane open in one direction, northbound only, through the entire construction project. So we're not converting to switch back to southbound traffic, because that'll just confuse people. So we're committed to one way north of the Gibson Transfer Road.
So we're doing the project from the bridge to Freddy's Steakhouse, that's our project, and the county is doing the bridge going over, obviously.
And then we carry on north of the bridge to Michigan.
Okay.
Or just a little bit north of Michigan.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question. Appreciate it. Anybody have a follow-up on that? If you want to raise your hand, we can. Hi, sir. How you? Hold on 2 seconds for the microphone.
I'm really worried about the bridge because I worked for the harbor and I did a lot of trouble calls and everything, and that bridge is bad. I mean, there used to be bricks on the tracks, and we're going, where'd these come from? Ooh, I can see the beams.
Okay.
That's not good.
I agree with you, sir. I go over that bridge. I'm glad you told us that. But that, I want to remind everybody, bridges are run by the county, not by the city, okay? Sounds like the county's got a plan to get this done, which is
I
great.
didn't know that. I thought you guys would jump on the Michigan Avenue Bridge and jump on the Gibson Bridge at the same time. That way you're only knocking Kennedy down once.
No, sir. It's two separate projects, but it sounds like Dean's coordinating it pretty well between the county project and our project, which is good for the residents.
A gentleman mentioned the Michigan Bridge. That bridge is going to be out for bid where they're going to work on it next year. So Michigan over Kennedy is getting replaced, and they're adding a bike lane on that bridge, one each way, but that's next year.
All right. How you doing, sir? Thank you for the question, sir. Hi, how you doing?
So, okay, sorry. So I was just to clarify, how long is a season? Because they said a season.
This season, when we mean that, it's this summer, basically.
Okay.
He plans to have it done by the end of the summer. Okay. Fair statement?
Yeah, I mean, it's September, October is
Yeah.
basic. So yeah, it'd be
Good
September,
question.
October.
Sorry, we speak in lingo sometimes. We think about construction crews, you know, they start right about now, they finish up in November. That's our season, so thank you for the question. Hi, Ruth.
Talking about the Homan project and everything, I know before it was mentioned that after the downtown area was done, you were going to be doing something from Douglas going south
Thank
on
you.
Homan.
Good question.
Any
Dean, could you please update? I was going to ask you that. Since we're here in the second district, let's talk about, it's a similar project, similar project that we're doing on Kennedy Avenue is also occurring right here on Homan.
Yeah, so Rich is talking about south of Douglas. We restriped that area a couple of years ago. So, but between Douglas and Russell Street, I think is sort of where you're going. That project is funded through, in part by Federal Highway. So we got 80% of the funding through the Northwestern Indiana Regional Planning Commission, or NERPC. That project bids in May, so we'll get a late summer start, and it should go through next year and maybe into the following year.
And
So
that project's different because it's a complete reconstruction.
it is, and it replicates what we're doing, what we did between Sibley and Russell. So we'll have a center parking median and one lane in each
So
direction.
that's going to take longer, obviously.
So it does take a little bit longer because we have utilities to rebuild, and
So that should go down by the end of the summer on Homan?
it'll start later this year, but we'll winter over, come back the following year, and try to get the work completed. But we're getting such a late bid this year, it could take a little longer.
Okay, thank you, Dean. Thank you. Thanks for questions, guys. I know it's tough going through construction, but when it's done, I mean, look at downtown Hammond right now. It's beautiful. I thought that parking, I was skeptical. Let's just say that. I was very skeptical, but I was listening to experts, you know, like Jeff Speck, who's like, Mayor, they'll figure it out, I promise you. And I love it. I love what downtown Hammond looks like. And I can tell you, I know from where you sit, sometimes people get skeptical about their government, but from where we sit, there's people with lots of money that are looking downtown Hammond right now. People with lots of money that want to do big projects that involve lots of people. It's really exciting. And I think, personally, I think it's because of that train line. I really do. That train line's a game changer for us. The bank is opening up this weekend. They wouldn't do that without that train line. Nope. They wouldn't. So I think I'm bullish on downtown Hammond. I don't think I'm bullish on downtown Hammond. And I was asked last week during my State of the City, what about the hospital? What are you going to do with that? It's a pile of brick right now, right? We have Purdue Northwest moving to downtown Hammond. And they're going to fix a building in downtown Hammond that's completely empty right now. It's the one that was adjacent to the hospital. And they're going to put a center with a computer connection that's called a quantum node. It's very few in the country. Chicago has one. The first stop in Indiana for these quantum nodes, it's state-of-the-art technology. It's going to be downtown Hammond. I mean, we have things going for us that are very encouraging. And I couldn't always tell you that. I've been mayor for a long time. We know that. I wasn't always as bullish on the second district as I am right now, Councilman Salinas. I wasn't. If you talked to me 10 years ago, I would have said, you know, we're trying our best, we're doing it. I actually see people with money that want to do things down in downtown Hammond right now. It's the first time in a long time. So I think the second district, I know Councilman was talking at the beginning of this. I agree with you, Councilman. The second district's booming right now. Right by the Gateway train station, we have a 15-acre parcel, or is it 11? 11-acre parcel. We're pitching that in a convention in Vegas because it's so marketable. It's literally adjacent to the train station. There's a piece of property in Michigan City that's similar, going for 9 figures. It's similar, and we're closer to Chicago. We have very high expectations for that property, and that's in your district. And if they move here, there's gonna be stuff that moves in with them. If they move a big, nice apartment complex right there, there's gonna be Starbucks, there's gonna be breakfast spots, there's gonna be stuff that you never could imagine in the second district. This is not a stretch at all. It's that train line has changed the game for the second district. So congratulations. And by the way, we couldn't have done that without the Hammond City Council. Hammond City Council and their supporting role on that. If I wanted to do it, but the council didn't, we had to put millions of dollars up for that. We didn't do that, none of this stuff would be happening in the second district right now. So there was a lot of foresight that went into this, and I want to thank the Hammond City Council. And there's a number of people that were there. I know I introduced Councilman Salinas earlier. Councilman Markovich had a role to play in that as well, and he's here as well. So I appreciate you, Councilman Markovich, for the role you played, and all the current councilmen as well. So thank you very much. Go ahead and do the next question.
Are semi-trucks allowed on Michigan Street? And can we get bigger signs? I'm assuming the signs might be the no truck route signs.
Felix, where are you? Hey, bud. Felix is in charge of Public Works. He's a good guy. He cares about us because he's one of us. We all live here, so we all know what semis are doing to our neighborhoods and to our streets.
I don't believe Michigan is a truck route. I'm not sure. I don't have the map right in front of me. But we'll look into it, and if there's no truck signs, we'll add more, bigger ones.
Can we get some detail? Is the person to ask the question, do they want to follow it up? Hi, how you doing, sir?
It's not a truck route.
What block, sir?
1438.
1438 Michigan?
Yes.
Okay.
So during the construction for the trains, we were told that certain trucks were allowed on Michigan, which was fine, while the construction was going on, but now it's an ongoing issue at all hours of the night.
Gotcha.
And when I was talking with my neighbors, the sign that is there is very, you don't notice it. They didn't even know that Michigan wasn't a truck route. So maybe if we can get a better signage so the trucks actually see it too and maybe know the fine.
Yeah, we'll look at it tomorrow and get something.
Felix, make something obvious over there, okay? Yeah. And then Chief. Hey, Chief, could you pick up the microphone? This is Chief Andy Short. Andy Short's at Hammond Police Department. Hammond Police Chief. Hey, Chief.
How you doing, sir?
I know that the Hammond Police Department's very aggressive with truckers that are off route. I see them all the time, and I take pictures of it. I put it on Facebook. It makes me happy when I see semis pulled over, okay? Chief, this gentleman, I looked over at Dean. Dean gave me the thumbs up. He is not on a truck route. 1438 Michigan, right?
Yeah, I know for sure it's not a truck route over there. And yes, you do put a lot of stuff on Facebook in regards to our guys writing a lot of tickets. I have our lieutenant of traffic back there, and I'm sure you heard us. I'm sure later today or tomorrow you're going to see an enforcement over there.
1438 Michigan.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. We're going to put some signs up too, but you'll see an added police presence out there, okay? Thank you. That's how it works. That's why you're here. That's what we're here for, right? That's what we get paid for, is to take care of problems. So thank you for bringing it up. Anybody? Semis? I hate them. I do. We do everything we can. We spent, Felix, how many of those signs did you put up? Our idea was this. Get big green signs for the truck route. You're on the right truck route. Good job, trucker. And then as soon as you turn off the route and you go into an improper truck route, there's big red signs that says you're not on the right route, turn around. And by us doing this, it gives the police officers plenty of ammunition when they pull them over. It's like, there's a sign right there, right? How many of those signs you put up, Felix?
Approximately 1,000. So.
And each of those signs, you have to like pound it into the ground?
Well, yeah, some of them. We usually try to use pre-existing poles and stuff because we kind of wanted it done, in a timely fashion.
Right.
So, yeah, with
Thousands.
poles, we got to call in locates and stuff. So we just, put them up on existing poles for the most part. So.
We do everything we can, and we will always be doing everything we can. And I imagine whoever the mayor is, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, is still going to have this problem. And it's a constant issue. We're on the state line. Just like reciprocity, we're going to get these flow-through semis that want to get off the highway and they want to get through our city to Chicago. So thank you for the question.
What can be done about business people who continue to practice bad business?
Good question. Hey, Kevin, grab a microphone, please. This is Corporate Counsel Kevin Smith. What I would do, if somebody was bad to me business-wise, I would call the Better Business Bureau. And I think that's probably under the Indiana Attorney General. Is that true, Kevin?
That's true. There's a consumer complaint division with the Attorney General's office, Mayor.
And
But
the
also,
Attorney General is a pretty aggressive person, too.
yeah, he is, and they have their consumer division actually is really good at answering complaints. You can do it online.
So if you got ripped off by a business like a contractor or something like that?
And absolutely, and also, of course, there's a couple other resources. I mean, construction fraud is something that the police department has to deal with. They'll take the complaint, and then we have the contractors board. Bob Vale's here, and if a contractor is licensed and there's a problem with that, it goes before the contractors board. They can pull his license.
Hey, Bob, could you grab a microphone? Hi, this is Bob Vale. Bob Vale's the building commissioner. Bob, I know that you police very well contractors in the city of Hammond, right?
Correct.
And in fact, you were a contractor before you became the building commissioner.
Yes.
So if anybody's doing business with a contractor, they should have a license, a valid license that they could physically show to the people getting the work done, right?
Yeah, anybody that does work in Hammond have to be tested. And then once they pass the test, they come in front of the building board and we ask them questions pertaining to their business mostly. And then the board approves them for a license, and they become licensed in the city of Hammond.
Is it, and then it's a physical license. So if somebody wants to do work on my house, I could say, hey, show me your Hammond business license or your building permit, right?
Yeah, so they could always call, and then we could check on the system if they're licensed in the city.
Do people do that a lot? Say, hey, I was about to do windows with this guy. I just want to make sure he's legitimate. Do they call you like that?
Yeah, yes.
Good.
Yes.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
Thank you. Hi, sir. How you doing? It's all right, man.
I apologize. My
Yeah,
questions
that's
are a
fine.
little broad because I was trying to write them down fast. So I guess this is pertaining to there's a gentleman. He owns one location on my block. He owns another house, which the cops were always at. The other location, the cops are there constantly. He used to own a house. The cops were always there until he sold it. And now he purchased the building right next door to me, which he was working in illegally.
It's a residential house?
So the building he purchased was a church.
Mm-hmm.
It's zoned residentially, but with partial commercial use. So now he purchased
It's
that.
convenient that Alex is standing next to you. It sounds like you're going to be one of her clients.
So he purchased this building, and he was working in it illegally. So we got the cease work order put on him. But now he's saying that he might change it into a residential property. But I already know cops are usually at his residential properties as well.
Okay, do me a favor. So we're going to cut you off here because I don't want you to get into too much detail. We're going to cover you. Alex, could you follow this up tomorrow? And we're going to take care of you off camera.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But we are going to, this is a perfect example of why we created Alex's position, okay? Because when you call the mayor's office, we usually are getting a lot of phone calls. And then if it's a complicated issue this could take a couple hours to work out, right? With multiple meetings and multiple people. Sometimes in the mayor's office, you don't have that kind of time. And this person's sitting on the phone like, I need help right now. So we created Alex's position to say, okay, I'm going to want you to come in on Monday. We'll meet at 10 o'clock and we'll go through everything that needs to be done in your case. So this is definitely one of those situations, sir. So why don't you and Alex get together after, and I promise you'll see results, okay? Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Perfect example of why we created that position.
Does the city take care of cutting tree branches in alleys?
No, I don't. I mean, it depends. I'm going to go to Public Works because I've never cut tree branches personally. I know that's surprising. Hey, Felix, what's up?
It's actually the owner's responsibility, but I mean, if there's something low hanging that could possibly damage a vehicle or one of our trucks or something, we'll go.
Like if
get it,
you're,
take care of it.
okay, so I have a tree in the alley. This is hypothetical. And every time the garbage truck goes through, it has to run into the branch. Then we may send somebody into the alley to clear it.
Yeah, we'll come get it just because it's going to damage our property.
Right,
but
because we don't want to
normally
damage our windshield driving through the alley. So in
usually
situations
it's
like that.
The owner's responsibility, the homeowner's
Right,
responsibility.
so if I'm like, hey, Felix, this is a really annoying branch. Could you come over and take my branch off? No, we don't do house calls, right? It's about public safety. It's about rights of way. And obviously, we can't go on private property. So any follow-up on that? My man, keeping us going. Hey, I appreciate it. All right, hi.
One last one. Trash cans left in the middle of the alley, can they not leave them in the way of the vehicle? I'm not sure if this is on trash.
Oh, okay, one last one from
and
this
pickup,
question.
yes.
Yeah,
If this is
good.
on pickup.
And by the way,
day-
each of the questions you fill out go to the applicable department. So your question, sir, is going to go to every department that's affected by your question. So we have a written statement from you, basically, that it's like, hey, take a look at this. So that's a good thing also about submitting written questions. Every single one of them goes to my desk as well. So thank you. So.
I'm not sure if that one is on trash pickup day or if it's residents leaving it in the middle, but
Okay,
it'll
we'll
get
just
to you.
follow it up when we follow up after. So we'll go ahead and do the next question.
Next question is regarding the cleanup of alleys and when the alley will be repaved. This is specifically regarding 23 Elizabeth Street.
Okay. Hammond has 300 miles of roads, and it's a challenge to keep up our 300 miles of roads. I'm going to estimate we have 100 miles of alleys.
Probably closer to your.
Really?
Yeah, probably closer. I couldn't tell you right off the top.
It's a lot. And so and obviously we're doing everything we can to keep our streets in reasonably good shape. We're talking about these huge projects that take multiple seasons. It's also multiple millions of dollars. And obviously the cost of labor has gone up tremendously. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is it's a challenge just to keep our roads paved, and alleys sometimes suffer. Okay? I'm not sure how much alley paving we're doing lately. I know very rare. And it's all focused on keeping our streets in good shape. I'll be honest with you. Dean, am I speaking out of line here?
So we did one alley last year in the 2nd district, and I'm trying to remember what, Ogden Street.
Was it like a safety issue?
Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
district supervisor and most of Public Works were telling me this is the worst alley in the city.
Okay, so that's
we
the
took action.
situations when it's like literally a safety issue.
Yeah, I mean, it was narrow, the road was caving in, it was pumping mud, it was in really bad shape. So,
Okay.
so there's an odd occasion when we will do that. Most of the alleys were paved in the late 90s. I remember talking to Mark Gordish about that, and so there was a push to do that, but it created a lot of problems in the end. But yeah, we rarely do alley work. We're focused on keeping the roadways clear and open.
And I think we're losing the battle with the roads. We recently had to consider passing, not even consider, we recently passed a road tax, a wheel tax. It's no secret, I'm not hiding from it, I'm not proud of it, right? The reason we passed the wheel tax is because we're falling behind on our road maintenance. It's a scary thing, we're falling behind. So we had to allocate more money because the gaming revenue's been falling. So we have to allocate additional revenue through the wheel tax to just maintain our roads. And then you get asked about an alley, I'll be honest with you, I don't know how, outside of the exceptions when it's really a safety issue, we're just sort of waiting for those situations to pop up, it sounds like. And I don't know if you love that answer or not, I'm just trying to be honest about where we are. So does anybody want to follow that up? Hi, sir. Alex is getting busy today.
So I know living in Chicago, it was illegal for residents to fill in the potholes with gravel due to union laws and them losing their jobs. Is that illegal here
Good question.
for the residents?
Before I look over at Dean, I'm going to say it's probably not legal. And I'm going to tell you why. Probably because of water in my head. Because when you fill it up, if you fill it up too high, you can push water around, and that's where things start getting complicated. Dean?
Exactly, Mayor. I mean, we really, there are rights of way we're responsible. If it's a pothole, Public Works could certainly put patch in the pothole, but we wouldn't resurface the entire.
Because this gentleman, you may say, okay, I'm just going to level it out, and then your neighbor's like, hey, and then the neighbor does it an inch higher, and then the next neighbor does it, and then you guys are pushing water all over the neighborhood. Then it could get out of control, you know? So I guess what Dean's saying is Public Works and Felix, except in the cases where we need work in the alley, it's probably best to call Public Works, okay? Is that a fair statement, Felix?
Yes, sir. If there's big potholes or something in the alley, we can.
So are you constantly working in the alleys in that regard?
Not constantly. We're focused on the streets, but if we get, the rare call that there's a big pothole in the alley, we'll go take care of it.
Cool. Thanks. All right, knocking things out.
This is a concern regarding the Hammond Housing Authority.
Okay.
This specific resident lives at Turner Park, and a lot of people are being put out and don't have nowhere to go.
As a result of what's going on in Washington, D.C.?
I'm not
I
sure. It's not
imagine.
specific.
Hi, Carmen. How's it going?
Hi, Mayor. It's going well.
This is Carmen Paniagua. Carmen Paniagua has been an employee of the city of Hammond longer than I've been mayor, and I've watched her career flourish from, she was basically working in an office role, and now she's running the Hammond Housing Authority. So it's good to see you. She does a great job. She's very familiar with the regulations to run it. It's a very complicated entity. Am I correct? If people are getting booted, is it because of what's going on in DC with the funding?
Not exactly. The only time we terminate anybody's lease is for violations of a lease.
Okay.
So just like for any landlord, we have rules to follow,
Right.
just like the residents have rules to follow. Anytime there's a lease violation, we try to work with them. There is one step that we do. It's called a forbearance agreement in an attempt to work with them. Once they're in a forbearance agreement, if they continue to violate the lease, unfortunately, it would be a lease termination.
Of course, we have to have rules, obviously. What percentage of the residents do you think have to go through this process? I have no idea. Is it less than 5% of the residents? Is it less than
I
1%?
would say about less than 5, definitely.
Okay. So it's very rare. I mean, you have to do it, unfortunately, but it's pretty rare.
Yes.
Most people could go through an entire decade without running afoul.
Absolutely. And a lot of the times, once we talk to them and put them on a forbearance agreement, they understand better and they try to do better themselves because they understand that they could lose their housing.
Right.
Unfortunately, that doesn't always happen.
Gotcha. Sometimes people don't follow the rules, unfortunately.
Correct.
And that's why we have a police department. And I'm not saying in this case, but unfortunately, people don't follow the rules sometimes. And we
That's
have
what happens.
to enforce the rules. I mean, every person that represents part of the government up here has to do that. Ron's been working for the city 40 years. He's the environmental guy. If people don't enforce the rules, Ron has to do things about it. We all do. So does Carmen at housing. And I'm just making a situation up. If somebody got caught breaking the law, Carmen has a job to do. And we can't make exceptions like, oh, Joe, don't worry, we like you. You could stay. We can't do that because then we could be sued federally.
Correct.
So I don't know the situation that this is bringing up. I do know that it's a difficult job you have, and I also know you're a very kind person, and you don't like doing this kind of stuff. I do know that about Carmen. She's a very kind person. I'm sure in cases like this, it breaks her heart. So
It does. That's why we try to work with them as best as we can. But unfortunately, we can't control their actions.
and there are consequences. And the police department, they have to deal with this every day, right, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes there's consequences. Sometimes you have very nice people that make mistakes, and there's consequences. And they get arrested because of their actions, right? So I don't know if we want to follow up this much more, and I don't even know the situation that is bringing this question up, okay? I'm just talking generally. Hi, Councilman. By the way, I didn't see Councilman Anthony Higgs out there. Councilman Higgs is a councilman in Hammond for a long time. We got elected at the same time. He's also part of the reason that we're bringing a lot of stuff to downtown Hammond. He made the vote to help bring the train as well. So thank you, Councilman. It's good to see you.
Good evening. I guess my question would be in terms of what she stated. I understand that the federal government is cutting funding, but is it because the residents that currently live there are being cut off, or is it the person that was there violated the rules?
Listen,
that's being removed?
I don't know about the situation. I don't even know if it's legal to talk about the situation.
And as of right now, I can tell you that nobody's been cut off due to funding.
Okay.
We have not been cut on the funding. It's basically violations of the lease at this point.
Thank you. And that's an interesting question, though. I mean, we all see what's going on in D.C. right now, and we have 1,000 people that live in housing. Is it 2,000 people that live there? How many people live in Hammond housing right now, you think?
Over the entire properties, I probably have definitely over 1,000.
Okay, so there's 1,000 people that live in Hammond off the assistance of the federal government today. That could change tomorrow. We've all see what's going on right now, and that could change tomorrow. Carmen may be called and say, sorry, there's no more money. Would that shock anybody right now?
No.
It wouldn't shock me, not a bit. I wouldn't be shocked a bit. So I think it's incumbent upon all of us to pay attention to what's going on, and if you're in a situation where you're relying on the government, I would be very, very much paying attention because the government is very, very unstable right now. I've never seen anything like this. I'm 56 years old, and there's people that have been around longer than me, but I've never seen anything like what's going on in Washington, D.C. right now, okay? And if I relied on the federal government, like the 1,000 people that live in the Hammond Housing Authority right now, I'd be very, very nervous about what's going on. There's nothing we could do if they cut off the funding. There's nothing we could do. I don't even know what we do. So pay attention to what's going on. So anyway, hi, how's it going, ma'am? How you doing?
Yes. One of the things that's going on now, I'm on the National Council of Legal Services, and one of the things that's going on, if you're on Medicaid, if your funds are cut off, you can't pay your rent. So these are things that we're saying may or may not happen. You may or may not be cut off, but be prepared.
Yes, ma'am.
As Mayor said, don't be shocked, don't be surprised because it's so much uncertainty.
Yeah.
Because one of the big things, if you don't get your check, you can't pay your rent. And you can't eat, you can't get your medicines. So be cognizant, have a plan right now. Most of us, I'm one, I can't save $1 because I'm waiting on the next check to come in. So the big thing is to be prepared. It's not these individuals that are putting you out. If you don't pay your rent, you're going to get put out. Thank you. But it's a sad situation that's going on now, and we have to be prepared. One of the things, I'm an advocate for legal services, 80th and Broadway, Indiana Legal Services. If you need legal services help, pro bono, the services are there if you qualify. So I'm giving a marketing piece.
That's fine.
And these are tools that you need to know where to go for help if you need it. And that's one of the things, how to be prepared. I have advocates in Macon, Georgia. They've already been cut off from Medicaid, went to the doctor, couldn't get their services, couldn't get their medications. So this is serious.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you. And you know, it's interesting, ma'am. Indiana Legal Services, I respect that organization much. I used to work at Notre Dame Legal Aid Clinic when I first became a lawyer, and then we created, when I first became mayor, the Hammond Legal Aid Clinic, and it's represented now by Chris Aquilaris, who's here also. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Mayor. So we've been in existence for 21 years now, as long as the mayor's been in office. And we offer free legal services to Hammond residents that have lived here for 9 months and meet our economic guidelines, or if you're over 62 years old. We've seen an uptick already too, and a lot of it is people can't afford to pay their rent. We've had some landlords that have already worked with us, some will not, but she's right, you gotta be prepared, and you gotta be prepared, and any little money that you can put away, that's great, but if you need our services, we're at 1402 173rd, and you can call us at 853-6611.
Thank you. That's right across the street from the Hammond Legal Aid Clinic. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. And this is another person that helps people that are in great need is the township trustee, Adrian Santos. Hi, Council. Hi,
Also,
Council.
Mayor, thank you for, like I said, I come to all of these and just,
Thank you.
this is like the first one that I'm actually going to be able to
Thank
talk
you.
about some things in my office.
Thank you.
So by all means, so if you know somebody out there that's struggling or going through hard times and can't pay their rent, by all means, stop in my office. That's what we do. We help folks. We are funded by the state, so as much as there are uncertainties with the federal government, well, that's the same thing with the state. We have Senate Bill 1 right now that the governor's trying to pass, which is going to hurt a lot of government entities like myself and schools. So those are some things that, we're trying to navigate through the waters and making sure that we get this funding. But for those out there that are looking for assistance, whether it be rent or anything like that, stop in my office. That's what we do. That's what we do. And there also is qualifications. We just don't hand out money. You have to qualify, and so long as you qualify, we're there to help you.
Thank you, Trustee Santos. That's Adrian Santos, North Township trustee. So if you fall into that category and you're worried about this, I tell you, trustees got a lot of great people that could help you. But it all started from a question about when people lose their housing, and obviously it's something that's taken very seriously. And so anyway, thank you for the question.
I think I have a follow-up housing right here.
Oh,
back here.
where?
Over here.
Oh, hey, what's going on? Hi,
Mayor,
Councilman.
you mentioned about getting back to Carmen about Hammond Housing, 175th and Columbia. You said about funding. Are they still planning on putting those balconies back up on that building then?
Yes, that would be for Golden Manor, and that's a different type of project. That's a low-income housing tax credit property.
Yeah,
So why would you want to spend all that money just to put balconies on it when they don't need balconies?
It's not necessarily just the balconies. Do we want to make it better for the residents? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you want to make it better for the residents, so don't put the balconies up. Why do they need balconies?
Anyway, well, we could talk about this some other time. We don't need to argue about poor people that live in a building that's falling apart, and then we acquired it. And I agree with Carmen that building was intentionally built with balconies, and we had to shut it down for safety reasons, and it wasn't the city's fault. We recently acquired that building, and I know she's putting together a plan to try to get it back to its former position. Those balconies were part of the original condition of the building. That's why we want to replace them, Councilman. So, thank you. All right, hi. Hold on 2 seconds. What's that?
I think originally the buildings were proposed to have the balconies, but now it's for the safety of the residents as well.
They had
In case
the
of
balconies
fire,
originally.
a
They had the
fire
balconies.
happened or something.
We had to take them out because they were unstable.
Yeah.
Okay? But they originally had them, correct. So, thank you. All right, let's do our next question. Oh, we have another question? I'm sorry. Hi.
Hi, I'm Kathy. I stay in
Kathy.
Golden Manor.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good,
And the
Kathy.
reason why y'all took them down because they was unsafe.
Yes, ma'am.
And some people, balconies, you could see the ground,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you all didn't want them to fall, so they took them all down.
Yes, ma'am.
And even though when I moved in there, it's on our lease, balconies and storage. But I asked Carmen, and Carmen said she's trying to get funding, and I don't understand that. But our storage is outside, and we can't get to it because the balcony is,
Yeah.
they tore them down. So
Yes, ma'am.
y'all say y'all working on it?
Yes, ma'am. We
Okay,
are. We
thank
are.
you.
And it's important to me. And we're going to do it, I promise you. But we acquired the building. It took us a long time, as you know. It took us few years to get the building through litigation. We recently acquired it. We had to spend a lot of money to do that. And now we're coming up with a plan where we can restore it to its former glory so that ladies like the lady that's speaking right now could get to their storage area or maybe go out on a balcony and breathe some fresh air. So that's the purpose. So, and I appreciate the conversation about it. So thank you very much. All right. Being mayor is a hard job. It is. I'm not going to say it's easy, okay? I love this job, but it's hard. And my philosophy is just to try to tell the truth. I really try to tell the truth. And people are going to say that's not true, but that's what I'm trying to do up here. And I try to talk about the difficult things so you understand, you know. And by the way, it was a perfect example there is pushback. Why are we building these balconies? Because it's important to some people. And then thankfully, one of those people actually spoke up. But that's how it works, is like you're balancing things. We don't have all the money in the world, so we're just trying to do the things that impact the most. So thank you for being here.
Is there a schedule for street cleaning?
Good question. Felix is active today. It's your day, Felix. You and Carmen, stars of the show so far.
We don't currently have a schedule, but we take requests. So if you need a street sweeper to come through or garbage picked up or
Have we
paper
started
picked
sweeping yet? I mean,
Yes.
We did?
Yeah, we Monday.
Monday?
Yeah.
That's always a good sign.
It is. Yeah. Spring is come, thankfully.
This spring, yeah, when the sweepers go out, that's a good sign. Spring is on the way. But, so it's sort of like an on-demand?
Yeah, it's a request.
And then in the summertime, it's obviously more regular in the summer.
Yeah, we'll have three sweepers out all summer long. We'll have 3 sweepers out all summer long, just, running through the mains. We have to sweep Calumet per our we have a contract with state. But yeah, we'll come take care of your street if you call in, or 311 app, as you always like to plug. So yeah, just
Thank you.
hit us up.
It's a good time to plug the 311 app. I don't know what made me think of that. Hammond 311 is an app you could download on your smartphone. Hammond 311. You'll see the city logo. For the people that go to Mayor's Night Out, you should definitely have this app on your phone. If you're here, you're community oriented, okay? And when you see things, you could directly talk to us through this app. You could go directly to the police. Well, you're not going to go to the police chief. You may go to the captain of detectives, though. You may go to the captain of patrol. Captain of patrol is in charge of like 100 officers, and you're talking directly to the captain of patrol. If you got graffiti, it goes right to the person that does the graffiti. It's the first thing they see in the morning. If you go the old-fashioned way and call City Hall, we write it down on a memo, and then we pass it to inter-office mail, and it works its way to our office mail. It could take a couple days. You could do it on your phone. It's there tomorrow morning. Download Hammond 311. Gets you direct access. Front of the line. Hi, sir. Yep. In the back. I think Alex is definitely getting more questions today.
Well, while we're waiting, Mayor, Felix, could you talk about the cleaning crews out cleaning up our city?
What was that, Scott? I'm sorry.
Can you talk about the cleaning crews that were out?
Yeah, we'll have paper pickup crews or something, anything like that. Just put in a request or whatnot, and we'll come check you out and get everything cleaned up for you. But yeah, we when the spring comes, kind of pick up the litter from winter and plow and everything get pushed off into the curb. So
You usually work a Saturday or something, right?
yeah, our winters have been mild, so we'll push off the overtime into the spring, summer, and clean up, do some Saturdays. Try to knock out a district, every Saturday or something. So yeah.
Cool, thank you. Feel free to ask Felix questions if you have them. This is his day, so if you have Public Works questions, Felix is your guy. So, hi, sir, how you doing?
Yes, hello. Like I say, it's for Hessville. Now, picture you're at Freddy's Steakhouse, and you're going south to 69th.
Okay.
No speed limit signs?
Felix, how's it going? There's no speed limit signs on Kennedy Avenue going south from Freddy's Steakhouse.
We'll look into that.
The speed there is what, 25 probably?
I believe so. Yeah, because it's going right through the new part.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Good point, sir. Thank you for bringing it up.
Yes, sir.
And Hessville people, too. We see a lot of streetlight poles going in, wood, but we don't get the rest of the lights put in. Ohio, New Hampshire.
Did you write those down? Could you? Good. If you wrote them down, we'll follow it up, okay?
All right, Rhode Island.
We just recently changed the way we do streetlights in the city of Hammond because we didn't think that our system was working very well. So we recently went to a model that's basically contractor driven, and I think it's going to work better. So it's starting to finally break. So if you get us your broken lights, we'll do our best to follow them up now that the weather's breaking. So thank you, sir.
The 100 block of Elizabeth is a one-way street. Many people disregard the do not enter sign. Is there anything else that can be done?
I mean, I don't know anything about this, but I'm sure we could forward that to the police department, chief. If we forward that to you and you could work with the captains and see what we could do.
Yes, sir. And I see my captain of patrol and my lieutenant of the traffic unit. I'm sure they heard this and they will take care of that starting tomorrow.
So we'll put a copy of all of us onto that and we'll follow it up tomorrow, okay?
A vehicle needs to be removed on the 6,000 block of road. It has been there for 2 years.
6,000 block. It has the actual address, I take it, right? We don't need to say it on TV.
No, it doesn't, but we have a contact.
Okay. Yeah, if you have an issue like that, we could read it off, but we'll just forward it to the department head, put the address down, and we'll go out there and check it out. We can't just go out there and ticket the car. We have to go through a process. The police department does. We try to expedite it as much as possible, but we have to follow the law going through situations like this. So, does anybody have a follow-up on that that I'm missing? Is it on this question? Okay.
Actually, the vehicle's been there for 2 years, and it's just sitting there vacant.
Okay.
And thanks, I guess, to the police department, recently I've been seeing them in the area putting stickers on the vehicles, but a lot of vehicles within the 3rd district are being just sitting there and for whatever reason. And
Get us a list,
little more enforcement needs to be done to get
Sounds
them
good.
removed. And also when it comes to street cleaning, the 1100 block of Moore Street needs a sweet cleaning immediately. It hasn't been done for quite some time, and all the debris is all through the alleys over there, and unfortunately,
Is this all written down?
yeah.
Because if it's verbal, it doesn't get followed up. If you actually write this stuff down, I'll forward it to the.
So that's basically what it is.
Thank you. I
A
appreciate it.
lot of issues going on over there, but.
Thank you, Mr. Higgs. And then we will forward it to Public Works, and they'll follow it up, Mr. Higgs. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Why were the sirens going off yesterday?
Oh, I know recently the emergency sirens just got reactivated. I got a text from somebody that told me that. Was it the police chief, fire chief? Was that you, Bernie, or who texted me recently and told me that? Rudy Gracia did. Thank you, Captain Gracia. So, does anybody want to speak on behalf of the sirens and why? I know that they recently started testing them. What's that?
Some of it's got messages of tornado warnings,
Okay, I'm not sure how that happened.
which is weird.
It was the Lake County Dispatch Center. They contacted us and advised that they were going to be testing yesterday, and I think they're also going to be testing this coming Saturday, I believe. And so it came from down there, from the county.
Should duck for cover or what?
Okay.
Because it was unusual.
Sorry, man.
So is there some way that we could be notified? If
Well, I'm
there's-
used to the test being on Saturday morning. I think all of us became used
We're
to the test
used
being.
to that, but
Right.
it wasn't Saturday, Mayor.
I agree, ma'am.
It was on TV because I saw it on TV.
On television,
on TV.
because I
Oh, was?
turned Channel
Okay.
9.
We,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am, usually it's Saturday morning. I think we all have become accustomed to that. I think yesterday was that unusual. I agree. It probably caused some consternation. But that wasn't us that did it, but I apologize for whoever did it. Yes, ma'am.
Calling me to know what was going on, and I had no answers.
Okay. I'm sorry, ma'am. I'll find out what happened, okay? But I know somebody texted me, so I wasn't thinking about it, and I could see how other people were scared.
We were, because of things that going on.
Right.
We didn't know if time to duck or what.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Thankfully, everybody's safe, so.
Is there an ordinance to have a lid on a garbage can? There's
I'm gonna-
trash all over the alley.
Okay, I love this. I'm not looking at Kevin. Is there an ordinance that says you have to have a lid on your trash can? Without looking at Kevin, I'm going to say yes. But I don't know, I'm just speaking. I'm going to say there's got to be an ordinance that says you have to have a lid on your trash can. Kevin, am I right? No? No, I know that face. I'm in trouble.
You're right, Mayor. The garbage can has to have a lid on it.
Thank you. Why were you giving me that look?
No reason. I was actually just doubting myself for a second.
Okay, good. Thanks.
But I think actually Felix, and we've talked about this a lot of times. Sorry, Felix. to
Star
get
of
you
the
back.
show.
But Felix and the law department worked hard last year together to talk about what happens when you need a replacement garbage can or replacement garbage can lid to make it economical for the resident. And so if you do find yourself without a lid, Felix can probably pick it up from here on what to do.
Yes, you can call us over at 601 Conkey or Click Fix It. Let us know your address. We'll come look at it, and if it's fixable, we'll fix it. If not, then you're probably going to have to purchase a new can just from normal wear and tear. So, yeah, just give us a call, and we'll come out and take a look.
Sometimes we run into hardship situations, okay, that have to do with garbage cans. And people that are watching Mayor's Night Out, this is a favor to you, okay? If I was in a situation like that, a hardship situation where I had a garbage issue, my can was stolen or broken, or I would call the taxpayer's advocate. I'd call Alex, and I'd explain the situation to her, and I have a feeling she'd be able to help you out. People that are watching Mayor's Night Out could get inside hints on how to work through government, okay? But as a general rule, we have to charge you when that stuff happens, right? But like, if you know how to work through the system, you may be able to like work through people like Alex and get help, because we don't want, let's picture it's a 90-year-old widow that lives in a house, she's on her own, and her garbage can is broken. And she comes up to us, she's lived in the house for 30 years, and we're like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, that's $40. I just have a hard time with my heart doing that. So we have to have situations for that. Like if my garbage can breaks and you charge me $40, I'm fully employed, I could fix it. But we have to think about the exceptional cases. And we try to work with you. I would definitely, if you're in a situation like that, I would go through people like Alex and explain the situation, and then Alex could be your advocate, okay? So.
Is there a way that the trash pickup could put some kind of notification for them to get a lid? Because the alley gets strewn with
I don't think it's a
litter.
big problem though, ma'am. Most of our trash cans are in good shape.
No,
Okay.
not in my area, because
Really?
trash gets strewn down the alleyway. And it's not an 80-year-old person either.
Okay, well, that's a code enforcement issue, ma'am. That's a whole separate issue. If it's a situation like that, how you doing, Nick? It's not very often Nick goes through an entire mayor's night and doesn't talk. And today, I thought you were going to get lucky. This is Nick Farrell. Nick lives in the Hammond's First District. He's in charge of code enforcement. Code enforcement's like a police arm of the city when people violate city ordinance and they litter and they don't maintain their yards. We get code enforcement involved. Nick?
Yep, and so in these situations, if you notice somebody's can that's damaged and they're not making attempts to repair, we can tag it with a green tag warning. We try to work with every homeowner to address the issue first, and if it goes unrectified, we issue a citation to appear in court.
So can we do this, Eileen? Can we get a copy of this complaint to code enforcement and to Public Works?
Absolutely.
And to Alex, just to see if there's something she could do to help, okay? And we'll follow this up, and we'll see if we can help out, okay, ma'am? Thank you for bringing it up. I can see why you're the advocate for your neighborhood, by the way. You're doing a good job today. Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, what do we got?
I think I have a follow-up over here.
Sure, hi.
Yeah, like I say, through out Hammond, north, south, east, west, you know. You got to tell Alice and Felix and Nick and Tony. And like I said, check the receptacles outside, you know, garbage, wheels, handles, lids,
yes, sir.
Squirrels. Everything's chewed up. And, you know, it makes the city look bad and
Yes,
sad,
sir.
but true, in order. Bad, sad, and true. And the thing is that, you know, it makes the alleys, you know, maybe your streets are good, real loud, you know, your streets are good, but the alleys need more cleaning.
Okay, I'm not disagreeing. This is usually the...
Check the poison ivy.
Thank you, sir. This is the dirtiest time of the year. It is. In our city, in any city, because we get done with the winter where there's people throwing stuff outside of their car, there's salt and grime on the street, and then when Felix and his crew get to work, this time of year, within a month or so, it's usually shining, because this is a big city. So this is the dirtiest time of year. I'm not saying that you're bringing up is not true, but give us some time to clean it. The weather just broke, so thank you. All right, let's move on.
Is Hammond
Felix, get to work. Hi.
Is Hammond impacted by changes in government funding?
Good question. Awana, where are you? Hi, Awana. Hey. This is Awana Miller. Awana and I have been working together since, she's been here longer than me, by the way, but Awana is in charge of community development. Community development exists mostly because of money we get from the federal government. So I'm sure Awana is paying close attention because it's her salary and her entire department is funded through programs from the federal government. True?
True.
And Awana's wonderful, and her staff is wonderful, and the causes that they help are wonderful. Churches, homeless advocates, people that help seniors. Crazy. It's crazy. They're just annihilating all this funding. And if it happens, it could have a dramatic effect, in my opinion. Awana, and I know Awana gets a lot more information than I do.
Yeah, we have meetings, Zoom meetings, every 2 weeks with our HUD reps in Indianapolis. And they're scared, we're scared and nervous. We have approximately $2.4 million that's at stake. And that covers Community Development Block Grant, Emergency Solutions Grant, which covers rental assistance, and it also covers shelters. And we have Home Dollars, which covers our partnerships with United Neighborhoods, Inc., which is our CHODO, for housing. Every 2 weeks, our HUD rep tells us, you know, we don't have any answers. We don't know what's going to go on. The last 2 weeks, she was almost in tears because she was very scared. It's a scary time for us right now because of the unknown, the uncertainty. We deal with a lot of people. I just had a meeting, a come to Jesus meeting, as I called it, with our 7 or 8 agencies that we fund in Hammond. And I indicated to all of them that they need to make sure that they don't depend on federal funds to fund their programs. Chris Sakalaris was one of those agencies at the meeting. And it's heart-wrenching because they do so much for so many people in our city. And just the thought of those funds are here today, as Mayor said, and gone tomorrow. There's no words. I have been in the city for 30 years. I've worked in the city, and I have never seen it like this. Yes, the government has shut down before for about a couple days or maybe a week or two, but this time a lot of our federal advocates that we have are losing their jobs. One in Washington in particular, we're going for what is called a 108 loan, and he praises Hammond up and down for doing such a wonderful job with that application. And I'm doing everything that I can to get that application expedited because I don't know when it's gonna go away. We're looking for an expansion on the Hammond Sportsplex. And right now it's going good, but I don't know.
That could change tomorrow.
Yeah, it could.
So.
It could.
You want water? I'm going to take a break for a second for Kathy. This is a Kathy break. She's covering every word, and we're talking fast. You're welcome. All right, let's get back to work. It is scary what's going on in D.C. Has a direct effect on Awana's department and a lot of social services in our city. Direct effect. And it's being discussed willy-nilly by a guy with a chainsaw that sells us electric cars that we didn't vote for. It's maddening. All I could do is focus on what we do here in Hammond, but that's an external factor that definitely could rock our world. And your church, and people that teach your kids, and people that help your seniors out. It's crazy. So, anyway, sorry. Let's move on.
Are there plans for the event of emergency preparedness for our seniors?
Anybody? Emergency preparedness for seniors? I'm not sure what that is. Hi, ma'am.
I guess I'm your assistant tonight. But no, the reason I ask that is because of things that are going on with the fires and floods and everything else. My concern is for the seniors that may not be prepared, because it's like your auto insurance. You don't want to have an accident, but you have insurance. And to be prepared, at least have your basics, your medications for seniors, because if something happens, as in California, forbid, you may be caught without your medications and have things as simple as a flashlight, contact information, copies of your documents, your driver's license, birth certificate, other things of that nature. It's important to have those handy. And I will, if any organization wants a presentation on it, give me 15, 20 minutes. I'm also a member of the executive board for Meals on Wheels, for those that might need assistance on that.
Thank you.
So I'm giving plugs all
Thank you, ma'am.
over
It's
tonight.
okay. I appreciate your service. So thank you. All right, let's go ahead and do another question.
From 147th, going south to 151st on Hoffman, on the west side, there are houses. There are no houses. There are 40 to 60 cars parked on the street, on the grass, having Illinois license plates or expired plates. What can be done about this?
Yeah, we need to get more. Is there contact on there?
It's actually anonymous.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Do me a favor. If you want to clarify that, we'll take care of it after. Go up and see Eileen. Eileen, just flag that one, okay?
Okay, absolutely.
Just flag that, and we're not going to.
It says Hoffman. It might be Homan.
Okay, but we need your help. We're not here to come get you. We need your information. We don't even need your information. If you just want to go see Eileen and clarify it, and you don't need to leave your name or anything, okay? Sometimes people leave their name so that we could call back and say, hey, could you help me with this? Could you give me more detail? That's the only reason, okay? We don't turn it into anybody. We're not like seeking you out. I'm not gonna get mad because you said something at Mayor's Night, I promise you, okay? We've been doing this for a long time. So anyway, if you want to give more detail. I agree, Anthony. I think that's people, and we've been doing Mayor's Night Out for 22 years, okay? I've never once followed up any question at Mayor's Night Out. Never once. Not even a single time. I'm not going to tell you I've never gotten mad at Mayor's Night Out. I've been mad at Mayor's Night Out over 22 years, okay? But there's hardly anything you could do that I haven't heard before, any of us. We just want to help. That's why we're doing this. So if you want to give more detail on that, you don't need to leave your name, okay? And we just want to help, and then we'll forward it to the department that can help. So, all right, let's go ahead and next question. Oh, it's C-Click Fix, yeah. Thank you, Chief. Or you could do it on C-Click Fix, and we will and stay anonymous on there, and we'll never know who you are. So,
Hammond needs to recommend to the Lake County Commissioners a person to be on the Lake County Health Board. That person needs to be in IC 16251BK. Sorry if I said that
I'm aware of
incorrectly.
this situation. I'm aware of this situation, very aware. I appreciate it. Is there somebody who wants to follow that up? But hi, ma'am. Hi, are you on the Lake County? Are you on the Board of Health? No, I'm not. Okay.
One second, ma'am.
Thank you. Welcome, Mayor's Night.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
This is Jackie Sloan Nowick, and I live in 4910
Nice
West
to meet
120th Avenue in Crown Point,
Thank you for being
Indiana.
here. Thanks for coming to Mayor's Night. Welcome.
You're welcome.
You have a great mayor, by the way. I love Pete Land.
Well, thank you.
He's a
I
great
don't
guy.
live in the city. I'm in
Oh,
unincorporated.
he's a great mayor. He's
Yeah.
a great place, yeah, so.
So anyways, about 2 years ago, I became aware, 2 years ago, Indiana changed how they fund the health departments of the counties. And in our county, Hammond is the largest municipality.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have the honor of recommending to the Lake County Commissioners a person to be on the health board.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think you attempted that, and thank you so much for doing that with Dr. Foray, if I could pronounce his name
You did.
correctly.
You did.
But he's not in categories 1B through K. So I think you have the honor of appointing somebody
Yes,
again.
ma'am. It's true.
And
I was, to be honest, I was really not very happy that, because I was told Dr. Forright was fine, and Dr. Forright's, people in Hammond have known his family. In fact, right here in North Hammond, his dad practiced for years. So I appointed Dr. Forright, and everybody, county attorneys, everybody said, this is great, thank you for appointing Dr. Forright. And the embarrassing thing for me is, I know Dr. Forright well, and he was super excited to serve on this. So
And he
I got
should
to put
stay.
him on there, and then Dr. Forright showed up to a meeting, he participated in the meeting, and then all of a sudden somebody called and said, hey, you got to tell Dr. Forright he can't be on that board. And I said, what are you talking about? I was told very clearly that Dr. Forright could serve, and he went and served. Now they want me to say, hey, Dr. Forright, you're fired.
well, no, that's why I'm glad I'm here then, because no, I don't think you should be
I don't like
fired.
this situation, and I don't like talking about it at Mayor's Night Out, being honest
No,
with you,
but
man.
I think he should stay on the board, and I think he's qualified to
Thank
stay
you.
on the board, and he should stay on the
Because
board.
I love Dr.
as
Forright.
an
He
ex
loves
of-
public service.
He should be an ex officio member, and he should stay on the board because they need people like him
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
board to contribute. So please convince him to stay.
Yes, ma'am.
But also, please take your time
You're-
and read that stupid statute that says it has to be in categories 1B through K.
Yes, ma'am. I'm aware, and I appreciate you bringing it up.
Okay, and if you
It's
could do
funny
that-
because it's such a niche area that we're dealing with.
It
When this
is.
came up at Mayor's Night, I'm like, this is the last question in a million years I would expect at Mayor's Night, but I appreciate
well,
you
I'm
being
glad
here.
that you-
And
you
I
will.
appreciate the fact that you care as much as you do. I do.
And I hope you could do it sooner rather than later, because there are things that have been voted on which did not get a quorum vote, and
Yes,
then
ma'am.
they have to be delayed and readdressed.
Okay.
And the health board is a very important
I
category.
know it is, ma'am, and
so.
and I appreciate your question a lot.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm upset not about you at all. I'm upset that it's going to be embarrassing for me to talk to a doctor that I respect and ask him to step down off the board.
Don't step
I
down.
know.
Please don't.
It's not the same, though. He was super excited to be a board
Well,
member.
no,
but
have him stay,
Okay.
Because I think he should stay.
He may
as an
probably feel
ex-officio
differently about it
member.
because he wants to be a real member, you know? If you're
Oh.
a doctor, he's got other things he could be doing. He was proud to be on that board.
He should be doing then. He should be the public health officer for the board.
Yeah.
And that's a paid position.
Yeah, there
And
you go. If I get Dr.
we
Four
could
a paid
talk more
position.
about that. I could-
Thanks. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for coming to Hammond. Whoa, that's a weird question at Mayor's Night, but I appreciate it. If it makes you feel better, my attorney and my chief of staff were beating me up the other day on this very issue.
Sorry, Mayor, I have a question over here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, last one. Remember now, last month you had the water bill, and the top question or thing on there was make sure everybody gets a back address. Again, back
Hey guys,
address.
hold
Back
on,
address
hold on. We're like,
on the garage.
this isn't how Mayor's Night works, so I'm not trying to be a jerk, but like, we do written questions, and then this isn't like Phil Donahue where you just get to fire off questions from the audience. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but like, that's why we do the written questions, so that we could answer the written questions, follow up the written questions, and then we talk about, so if we're talking about the health department, like she went through and did an actual question, and then if you have a follow-up on the health department, you raise your hand, and we come up to you expecting a question on the health department, and you're like, you know, your code enforcement department sucks. It's like defeats the spirit of Mayor's Night, so I'm not trying to be a jerk. If you have a question, I'm just asking you to do a written question. So, thank you. All right, let's move on.
So, Mayor, to finish off, I have a letter from a resident, but I'll read you 2 lines of it, and then I'll submit the rest to your office, the letter to your office.
Okay.
Thank you for all your hard work. Since 2005 to 2025, the city looks more attractive. You are creating very strong infrastructure, attracting many different revenue streams to the city.
Did Marissa write that?
She did it. It's from a resident.
That was so nice of her. I appreciate it. It's nice. I appreciate it. And I didn't mean to come off wrong, sir. I did not. Okay? And I realize it's just we have to have, because then before you know it, we're not going to have written questions, and we're just going to be going around a room with a microphone getting fired on. So we try to maintain order, and that's all I was trying to do. So I'm not trying to be a jerk. I appreciate everybody that comes to Mayor's Night. Okay? Did we miss anything that we need to cover, Scott? Can you think of anything that needs to be covered? I'm sure everybody, is there anything pressing from any department they need to speak about? Sharon, how are we doing on open jobs right now?
Currently, we have a labor position posted for Public Works. It's still in the internal process, and same thing with the sanitary district. So if they go to the outside for applications, it'll be towards the end of this month. But I keep applications on file for 3 years, so if anybody's interested in future positions with the city, they're more than welcome to come to City Hall and complete an application.
Typically, when we bring new employees in, typically they're CDL drivers.
That's our biggest one that we don't hire internally for.
Labor, it seems like a lot of part-timers are getting the labor jobs.
Right, they're taking that step of working part-time, reduced hours, or only summer work, and then hoping that something comes open.
That's a pathway to get in. So you have your son or daughter work for Felix in the summer, and they bust their butt and they do a good job, and Felix is like, I want this person to work for me. He does it all the time. And then a job pops up, and Felix is like, hey, Jose is the greatest. You got to bring Jose on. That's a person I want working for us. And that's how it works. You know, we meet Jose through part-time work, and then Jose ends up working for the city and getting a labor job. So that's usually the way to get in. You need a job in the city. If you're willing to work shift work, we can give you a job with the utilities. If you have a CDL, we can get you in right away. So, all right. Hi, Scott. I'm good at what?
You're good at this, but...
Thank you. I appreciate it, Scott.
Right? No, we reviewed the topics. You've hit them all.
We did?
Yeah.
Good?
Yep.
All right. We got any? Oh, hi. Hey, Jack.
Hey, Mayor, how are you?
Jack's in charge of sewer maintenance. So he keeps our sewer system clean. He goes around year-round and sucks them out with a big Vector truck, because if he does his job the right way, when we have these heavy rains, our sewer system can handle it. And you see a lot of cities that aren't doing what Jack's doing. They get like a little rain and there's water everywhere. So thank you for what you do, Jack.
Thank you. Just for heads up, the 15th this Saturday, we are having our St. Patrick's Parade in Hessville, starting on Kennedy Avenue from 171st to 165th, going east.
All right.
So everybody, please come on out and enjoy and have a good time.
I'm in that parade. I know that. And it's supposed to be nice weather this weekend, I thought, right?
Yes, 65, 68, 0 rain.
Nice. Look at us. Global warming's going to make this place like Florida. Hi, Matt. How's it going?
Hi, Mayor. The 39th Annual Disabilities Awards Breakfast is a week from tomorrow, Thursday, March 20th at Dynasty Banquets. You guys would like, anybody needs tickets, go ahead and reach out to me at the Hammond Sanitary District or reach out to Cynthia in the Office of Economic Development. Again, that's Thursday at 8 o'clock at Dynasty, the 20th.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate you all being here. Mayor's Night Out, we've been doing it a long time. We do it 6 times a year. The next Mayor's Night Out is May 14th. That's a Wednesday also at Hammond Central High School. It's going to be for Hammond's 3rd District. So I'll see you guys at Hammond Central next time. Hopefully we'll be live on that one. I appreciate you all being here, especially the people from out of town. Thank you for coming to Mayor's Night. Enjoy and be safe going home. Take care, everybody.